Are you considering a move to Northeast Florida, but torn between Palm Coast and St. Augustine? You're not alone. These two beautiful coastal cities offer completely different lifestyles. And today, we're breaking down everything you need to know to make the right choice for your situation. Hey there, I'm Kim Devlin, your Northeast Florida Realtor. And whether you're a young professional, growing family, or planning your retirement, by the end of this video, you'll hopefully know which city matches your priorities. So let's dive in. Let's kick this off with what everyone's really thinking about, the cost. And if you're watching your wallet, Palm Coast comes out on top. So let's talk housing. The median home price in Palm Coast is sitting around $360,000 compared to about $499,000 in St. Johns County. That's nearly a $140,000 difference. Seriously, that's a lot of backyard upgrades or beach days. Now, renters, you'll likely save around $200 to $300 a month in Palm Coast, depending on what you're looking for. And when it comes to property taxes, here's where it gets a little bit more nuanced. The city of Palm Coast is in Flagler County, and if you're in the city of Palm Coast, your tax rate is about 1.8%. If you're in the Flagler County, which would be the Hammock area or Flagler Beach, then it's going to be lower at about 1.4. If you're in the city district of St. Augustine, your tax rate is at 1.8%, but if you're in the county portion of St. Augustine, then you're at 1.2%. Now, since homes are lower in price in the city of Palm Coast, your assessment, your taxable assessment is going to be lower as well. So even though the rate is technically higher, your actual bill may still come in lower. It's all about how the math plays out. Now, everyday expenses like groceries, dining, utilities run fairly similar between both cities. The bottom line, if your budget is your primary concern, Palm Coast offers more bang for your buck, especially for first-time homebuyers or those on fixed income. Now let's talk about the vibe, because this is where these cities really differ. Palm Coast has a quiet suburban feel. It's perfect if you want that peaceful lifestyle without the resort prices. The city is only about 25 years old, so everything feels very much organized, like a suburban neighborhood. St. Augustine is pure historic charm. We're talking 450 plus years of history, cobblestone streets, and that authentic old world Florida character. This is where you'll find ghost tours, historic inns, and architecture you simply can't find anywhere else in Florida. Outside of the historic district, you'll find coastal neighborhoods with mid-mod homes, old Florida neighborhoods, as well as more planned communities. So there's a lot of variety that can be found in St. Augustine. The trade-off, Palm Coast offers solid homes, generally concrete block on larger lots, while St. Augustine provides character, unique neighborhoods, and cultural richness. Most of the homes are going to be wood frame built. Now, Palm Coast feels like a suburban Florida community, while St. Augustine feels like living in a vacation destination. The social scene in St. Augustine absolutely wins hands down for nightlife, restaurants, and cultural events. Palm Coast is quieter, great for families and retirees, but younger professionals might find it sleepy. When it comes to outdoor activities, both cities offer incredible beach access, but with different personalities. Palm Coast beaches like Hammock Beach area and Marineland are less crowded and more natural. You can't drive on those beaches. They're perfect for peaceful walks, fishing, and avoiding tourist crowds. And St. Augustine beaches like Anastasia State Park and St. Augustine Beach offer more amenities, so beachfront restaurants and that classic Florida beach town experience. Palm Coast definitely edges ahead with more golf courses, extensive canopy trails, perfect for cycling, and there are a lot of parks to explore. St. Augustine counters with great access to the Intercoastal Waterway for boating, historic fort tours, eco tours, and more organized outdoor excursions. So the winner, it's a tie. It depends on whether you prefer pristine and peaceful Palm Coast or lively and activity-rich St. Augustine. When it comes to schools, St. Augustine wins here. St. Johns County consistently ranks among Florida's top school districts with excellent ratings and more educational resources. Flagler County schools in Palm Coast are decent, but don't quite match St. John's reputation. Now, when it comes to family activities, St. Augustine offers more kid-friendly attractions. The Castillo, San Marco, Alligator Farm, trolley tours, and historic sites are a lot of fun. Palm Coast provides more suburban family amenities like community pools, playgrounds, and parks. Now, when it comes to career opportunities, they vary significantly between these cities. The job market in St. Augustine offers more diverse employment. Tourism, healthcare, education, and some professional services. Palm Coast job market is smaller, with many residents commuting to Jacksonville or Daytona Beach. Speaking of commuting, this is crucial. Palm Coast residents often face 45 to 60-minute commutes to major job centers. St. Augustine provides better local employment, but Jacksonville commutes are still common. St. Augustine tourist economy creates more entrepreneurial opportunities like restaurants, shops, services. Palm Coast is more limited but has less competition. Both cities are great for remote workers, but I will personally say that the cell signal is definitely better in St. Augustine than parts of Palm Coast. Now we come to healthcare access. This is vital, especially for retirees. St. Augustine has more healthcare options, including Flagler Hospital and more specialist practices. And Palm Coast has Advent Health, but for specialized care, you might find yourself traveling to St. Augustine or Jacksonville. Now, St. Augustine offers more professional services like shopping options and cultural amenities due to its larger size and tourist infrastructure. But Palm Coast does have plenty of shopping, but you will find that it's going to be more of the chains, more of the big box types of stores. When it comes to getting around these cities, highway access is accessible in both. But St. Augustine has better access to I-95 and US 1. Palm Coast requires more navigation through some of the residential areas to get to these highways. For airports, Jacksonville International is about 45 minutes from St. Augustine and slightly further from Palm Coast. Daytona Beach Airport is closer to Palm Coast for smaller flights, but Palm Coast is also closer to Orlando, and that's a big international airport. So you can get plenty of flights out of that airport, and that would probably be about an hour and 45 minutes. We've talked about public transportation in the past. That is minimal in both cities. You'll definitely need a car. Now, St. Augustine does have a downtown area. Palm Coast doesn't. So if you live in downtown St. Augustine, it's absolutely walkable, but both cities really do require a car. So which city should you choose? I would say choose Palm Coast if you want maximum value for your housing dollar. Prefer quiet suburban living if you love golf and peaceful beaches and you love a large trail network for outdoor activities. I'd say choose St. Augustine if you value history, culture, and character, better schools for your kids, if you love to go out for dinner, you like a nightlife and tourist activities, and if you need more local job opportunities. The truth is, both cities offer incredible Florida living. Palm Coast gives you that resort-style life on a budget, while St. Augustine provides authentic Florida charm with more amenities. Either way, there are only 30 to 40 minutes drive away from each other, so you can always visit. Now, if you want to download my free relocation guide, I have one for St. Augustine and one for Palm Coast, and the links are in the description below. If you'd like to learn more about the Palm Coast area, watch this next video, and I'd love to hear what matters most to you. Drop a comment below and let me know which city you're leaning toward and why. And if you found this information helpful, hit that subscribe button for more Florida relocation videos. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will catch you on the next one.